I'm excited to welcome Nike Famojuro, a passionate productivity and leadership strategist dedicated to helping individuals maximize their time and boldly pursue their God-given vision. With over 14 years of experience as a therapist, certified productivity strategist, a TEDx speaker, and author, Nike has a remarkable ability to teach and support individuals and organizations in working smarter, leading better, and living intentionally. Nike has a background in law, a master's in Christian counseling, and a master's certificate in neuroscience, counseling, and psychology. One woman. Her expertise spans time management, leadership, goal setting, and mental health. She empowers people to turn their purpose into action while maintaining emotional well-being. Besides empowering others, Nikia cherishes quality time with her family, enjoying mini dates with her daughters, and meaningful moments with her husband. A message is clear. Your time is a gift. Use it wisely to fulfill your purpose and create a life you love. Please join me in welcoming the incredible, awesomely beautiful Nike Famojuro. Please welcome today. How are you doing, Nike?
I'm good. Thank you so much for the fantastic introduction. I'm listening. I'm like, I'd like to meet this lady you're talking about.
I get that a lot when you read women's accolades today. They're always like, is that me? And I say the same thing over again, and is sometimes we don't give ourselves a pat on the back on the many achievements and things we've done. Sometimes we get caught up in what have I not done, and we don't take a moment to reflect on really what have I done. But
Yeah.
for me, an amazing person. I've met you a couple of times, and each time I've met and spoken with you, I've never left the same way.
Oh,
You are
thank
just
you.
different from everyone else. So tell us about you. How did you come about having all of these things put together? Because for me, reading what you've done from law to all of the everything put together, I see a deliberateness and an intentionality. What led you to doing these things that you're actually doing?
Okay, as you were speaking, I'm thinking, where do I really start from? But I think I'll just do like a quick summary. So I started off, I studied law right off while I was in school. It was interesting. They had this law week in school where they were supposed to show us how amazing it is to study law. But I think that week was the week I figured out, nah, this is not really my path, which was interesting because I didn't know what my path would look like, but I knew that wasn't my path. So I finished law and then I went into corporate and I worked as a business analyst. So I was helping businesses to grow and also streamline their processes and systems. And I enjoyed doing that. Then got married, then moved to Canada. And then, so I was in Canada, I was a new mom. And I knew I didn't want to have a job at the time and I wanted to start my own business. So I went straight into business, helping moms to set up their own business. So I was literally supporting mom entrepreneurs. But then I found that the biggest struggle at that time was your time because you had to be a mom, you had to run a business, and you just had to figure it out and find that balance. So that's when I went on my journey to research what this time management is all about, trying to make the most of my day. And I think my aha moment happened the moment I realized that we all look at time like 24 hours, but it's not really 24 hours. It's
Okay,
a
are you
day.
there?
Go ahead, please.
We look at time like 24 hours, but it's not really 24 hours, it's a day in your life. And so the question is, how are you spending a day in your life? So I got into time management, started helping moms still with time management. And from them, I just moved on to helping other women and people and organization. Because at the end of the day, all of us are still trying to figure out this time thing. So I'm always there to support and find better ways around it. So that's my journey in as precise as I could deliver it. Yeah.
Yes, that is so amazing. Just turning a passion. Again, that was a need into your business. And not
Mhm.
just doing it because you felt I want to make money out of it. From what you said, it's not actually wanting to make funds or business out of it, but see how can you help other people. And
Yeah.
that for me is a great way to actually start a passion and start a business. First of all, you needed to understand, how do I help me? You helped you first, and like, oh,
Yeah.
if if this is a problem for me, most likely other people might have the same problem. Like, how do I extend this to others? So tell
Mhm.
us about the various things that you do. I know you just had a conference last week, just
Yeah.
over the weekend, and I saw your post this morning talking about how you're a keynote speaker and now you're back down on earth. And you're like, so how do you live the balance of these two lives? So I want you to tell us about your program, and for the upcoming program, how can we be a part of it, and what do we need to do really to garner or glean a bit of what you do and how you can also help other people?
Right, that's true. I do a lot that has to do with finding your purpose and going after it because basically that's what you should use your time for. So we do events all around Canada. We've been to Winnipeg, been to Toronto, Edmonton, BC, and what we do in our events is for women, and it's just to awaken women and just remind them, that dream that you used to have, that goal that you set for yourself, that passion that you have, even though you might be working right now. Hello, that passion is still there, right? And then for some women, they're probably working on the passion, but they're getting fed up because being an
Yeah,
entrepreneur is a hard journey. So just
yeah.
encouraging them. So the last event you're talking about, we had one in Edmonton, and it was a black and a mom event. And the goal of the event was just talk about what it's like being a mom, the mental load that we carry, and how you can get mental support. Because I'm also very big on emotional and mental wellness as well. So, and then I have an upcoming event coming up in June. That one, I'm sorry, coming up in May actually, because May is Mother's Day, and that's for mothers. Is a Mother's Day high tea just to celebrate mothers because we don't remember to do that. But then most of our events are usually centered around women, not necessarily mothers. It's just that this happens to be mother stuff just going on. So yeah, that's what we do with our in-person events. But then I do support people online. I support people one-on-one as well. If you have like a dream, whether you have a business you're running and you're trying to figure out how can I upscale that business, even though I do time management, I show you how you can restructure things so that you can grow. So I do support organizations. I go into organizations, I do corporate trainings for the staff, whether it's leadership training or time management or productivity training, just to streamline processes, have better leaders, and grow the business. So I feel like time is something that affects everybody. So
Yeah.
if you feel like you're struggling with something, the answer is to check how you're spending your time, and then you can figure out the answer. So,
I love what you said about the time management part and the emotional and mental well-being. Again, where your time goes, your life will go. And it's a
mhm.
saying, but it actually true. You know, Nikki, recently have been quite deliberate about my time management.
I
I
love
never knew I could do so much in one day.
it.
If only I can actually put my time into blocks
Yeah.
and just blocking time. Oh, I'm having time for business, and that is it. I'm
hmm
having time for this, and it's that. And at that time when I need to do this, it's just that focus on it.
Yeah.
And have been amazed.
The
Recently,
growth.
I've lost my voice to really be speaking. I used to be very animated when I'm talking, but recently I just realized that you know what? There's always time. Calm down. Do these things the way they're supposed to be done. And
Yeah.
not because I was doing things not the right way, but because I
hmm
was always seem to be in a hurry to get things done. And I realized, you know what? If you actually space your time, you can actually get more done in one day.
That's
And
so
I
true.
find that really, really amazing. As a woman in leadership, Nike, what challenges have you faced and how did you navigate those obstacles to inspire others? I hear women speak about challenges every time. Can you speak to that aspect of challenges and how can we as women overcome those challenges and also inspire others?
I mean, when it comes to being a woman on its own, we have so many notions. Like we set some standard for ourselves, like some ceilings. You're not supposed to be doing this. A woman is not supposed to be this, out there. So really, you have to first start with breaking that mindset because most of the time, the things that are holding us back are the things that we are thinking about. And as women, we don't spend time to check on what we think about.
Wow.
And the reason why I said that is I've had an experience where I was going to have a presentation to a big company that they were going to be top bosses over there. And I just realized that for some strange reasons, I was feeling a little nervous, very nervous, extra nervous. And I had to pause and said, okay, why am I nervous? Okay. Is it because I think I cannot do this? I'm like, no, I can do this. Why do I think that I cannot do this? And then it boiled down to how I actually see myself. And I had to do the work to retrain my thoughts and the things I was saying to myself before that presentation. Because let's be honest, when you stand in front of people, what you
Mhm.
think about yourself is what you're going to project to the people. No matter how well dressed you are, no matter how articulate you are, what you think about yourself is what you're going to project. Now, the reason why I'm starting with thoughts is because as women, even being raised as little girls, there were certain thoughts that has been passed down to us and conception that has been passed down through us. And it's amazing. It's one of the things I was talking about during our last event when I was saying we had event for the Black and the mom and the mental load. Even very subtle communication like, oh, don't you know you're a girl? You're not supposed to be this loud. I remember giving this one example during my keynote and everybody started laughing. I was like, has this ever happened to you where, lunch has been prepared, everybody's ready to eat, and then a guest walks in? You know what's going to happen to your lunch? Your lunch is going to be taken from you and probably served to the guest, or you're going to have to get up and go have your lunch later and then try and, pay attention to the guest. And that's what happens to a woman is it's like they send that subtle message to you to let you feel like what you're doing doesn't really matter as much. Why are you so driven? And that can trickle down to being an adult. And so when you're a woman in leadership and you have not done the thinking work, where you actually work on your thoughts and how you see yourself and retraining your thoughts, that could be a challenge in leadership.
I absolutely, totally agreed with you. But one of the person who helped me fight that thought was my dad. My mom would always, everything I did, no, say you be girl. And
Mhm.
in my head, I really, from a little girl, I think I started detesting being a girl. I wouldn't,
Mm,
I wouldn't lie to you because I
mm,
had brothers.
mm.
Every little thing, don't you know you're a girl? You can't sit like this, you can't talk like that. But like, he just did it. So
Yeah,
what's the
yeah,
difference between him
yeah. Mm,
and me? Yes, understand the sitting part because okay, you're wearing a dress. I didn't wear dresses until my convocation.
wow.
The first time I wore a skirt, I can still remember that was my convocation. I
Mm,
deliberately wore trousers all my growing up age.
mm,
Because of this concept you're talking about, don't
mm,
you know you're a girl? I
mm.
say, okay, so the difference is boys wear trousers, right? So I'm going to
Right.
wear trousers. I'm
I'll
not
be
going to
one
wear
of them.
skirts. I was
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, now, Nikki, how do we balance the roles? Balancing
Mm,
roles. You balance multiple roles as a mother,
mm-hmm,
a wife, and
mm-hmm,
professional.
mm,
What advice do you have for women juggling their personal and professional responsibilities while maintaining emphasis is on well-being,
mm-hmm,
mental well-being?
mm-hmm,
Because
mm-hmm,
most of the times what I hear women say is, I am stressed out, these children are burning me out, the work, I
mm-hmm.
can't do it.
Right.
A lot of them settle for far less
Mm-hmm,
than they should be
mm-hmm.
because they're unable to find that harmony between the professional lives and the personal lives. Can you speak to that, please?
Yeah, I love that because the truth is we all have 24 hours in a day. I always say that you have 24 hours in a day. It sounds like a lot of time, but in it, you're going to sleep. So let's take out sleep. If you're one of the lucky ones that sleep 8 hours, that means you're left with what, 16 hours a day. That's already kind of chopped up your day. And then in that day, you're going to be a mom, a wife, a sister, a friend, all of that in that 16 hours. So the question is, you check in, what are your priorities in a day? And those priorities should be your non-negotiables. So for me, to give example, I like using myself as an example so that it's just easier. Like for me, I'm very lucky. I wake up very early in the morning. Most people are not that way, and that's okay. That's okay. There's no pressure. I wake up 5 a.m. and I realize that tracking my energy levels in a day, because we all have different energy levels in a day. There's some time period in the day where you're like high up there, and then there's some time in the day that you're just like, leave me alone. I found that my highest energy in the day is between 5 and that 1 o'clock. And then when it's about 1 p.m., I'm having this dip. And then when it's nighttime as well, I'm high energy. It's so hard for me to settle down. So I would say the first thing you want to do if you want to balance everything is to track your energy levels in a day. When do I have my highest energy and when do I have my lowest energy, or when am I cruising? And why that is very important is I work from home. Imagine I just told you my highest energy is between 5 a.m. and 1 p.m. If I should wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is go in the kitchen, clean up the kitchen, and I'm just wasting that precious high energy cleaning up when I can use it to serve my non-negotiables. So the moment I had that, I understood that I'm like, why am I wasting great energy to clean up my kitchen and leave, tidy up my living room, or even getting dressed in the morning? Why am I wasting, precious energy for that? Why don't I use that for what's important? And for me, I have my negotiables, non-negotiables, and my faith, my family, and my business, and my friendship, and my fitness. Those are my 5 non-negotiables. So I use that time to make sure that I pour into those cups. Whether it's faith, I spend time with God when I have my high energy. So that way I'm not dozing off while I'm doing my doing my time with God, right? Whether it's my family, I pour into them, even waking them in the morning, I just spending a few minutes just talking to them. And then whether it's my business, I do the work I have to do in my business because I know that time is precious. So just saying, if I schedule you within that time, is because I have high energy. Anything else you're getting later is not going to be like that. Now, some people are not lucky enough to do that. They probably have to go to work. So if you have to start work at 9 and you have high energy when you wake up at 5, that means between 5 and 8 o'clock, use it for something that's very important. Rather than using it to pack the kids' lunches or getting dressed, use that to invest in what is important to you. Now, when it comes to balance, that balance thing is not really, is non-existent. It's just,
I use the word harmony.
it's
I
just
was careful
harmony.
about balance.
Exactly.
Creating that harmony.
Yeah,
Don't do I?
it's
It's
just
not
a
a balance. Oh.
harmony. Yeah, it's not a balance. And life is in seasons. I always tell
Yeah.
that to my clients, like life is in seasons. You have a season when you have so much time to do that thing that you want to do. And then another season will come that it looks like, that thing is not working. And a very typical example, I'm using moms a lot. A very typical example is if you're a mom, you have a newborn baby. That season in your life is not balanced. It's about the baby. That's all. If you're able to squeeze in a bit of time for the other non-negotiables, awesome. But that season is for that. Same thing for if you're trying to grow a business. That season when you're starting off the business, it's all about the business. You'll be able to, pour into the other cups, but not as much as you desire. But just know that a season starts and a season will definitely end. So don't let it extend for too long. Make sure that that season ends and then move into the other season where, you'll be able to pour into the other cups. But I would say, just to summarize what I just said, find your non-negotiables. Top 3, top 4, top 5, find that. Secondly, find when you have your energy levels, like understand yourself. Women, we don't like to pay attention to ourselves. We are so numb to our feelings. We're so numb to energy. As I'm speaking right now, I'm sure some of you are like, oh, may I have energy from morning to night? Really? Really? I'll give you a little assignment. Track it for the next 3 days. Just track it. When you're feeling tired or you start yawning, check the time and write the time down. Over the next 3 days, you'll be able to find out, oh, this is when I get my dip, or this is when I get my boost. Some people, it's at night. They are up at night moving mountains. That's why they have their high energy. Use it. It's like when you have this precious gold and then you use it for what's important, not spending it on irrelevant things. So track your energy, know your non-negotiables, and understand that life is in seasons.
Well, thank you so much for that. Even as you're speaking to me, I'm actually in my head, I'm putting it into compartments and I say, okay, no, I know it's this time, I know it's that time, I know it's this time.
Yeah.
And that is really, really, really amazing. I know you've touched a little about this, but can you talk to us about encouraging intentional living? I know you're very big in intentionality because your messages I see, they actually emphasizes living intentionally. How can women cultivate intentionality daily? Because I believe that your intentions will be grown on daily. How can women cultivate intentionality daily to create a fulfilling and purpose-driven existence?
Yeah. I think the first place that starts from, still gleaning off what I just said, is you have to understand what's really important to you, not what someone said it should be important to you. And most times we live in this cookie cutter where they tell you, oh, these are the things that should be important to you. But is it? Is it really important to you? Do you really care for those things? So we need to first be able to spend time with ourselves. I love journaling a lot. And just ask yourself, like, what is really important to me? Now, when you're very clear on that, then it's easier for you to be intentional when it comes to those things. But if you're just doing stuff like you're just on autopilot, it's very hard for you to really know the things that you should put your energy into or the things to say no to or say yes to. Now, for some people, they've done the work, they already know what's important to them, and the struggle is, how can I be more intentional? The first thing from mental wellness is mindfulness. I know we use that word so much, but mindfulness, so important. I always do that to myself because I'm a woman that meant the way I'm wired, I'm always on a go, like go, 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 go. If as I'm talking to you right now, I'm already thinking about the next meeting that I have. But I had to retrain myself to understand that I am here right now. I'm talking to Eruke. We're talking about this. And how do I ground myself? Very simple. As I sat down, I used one of my senses. If you're very in tune with one of your senses that speaks to you the most, for some people, it could be their taste, some people it's their sight, some people it's touch. For me, it's my sight. So I'm sitting in my office. As I sat down, I had to look at 5 things in my office. So I have a cup of coffee on my table. I have this light. I have this frame. So I look at it like, oh, nice cup. I like this cup. Oh, I like this frame. That's just a way to ground myself. Some people have to taste something. Maybe they put something like a mint in their mouth. I'm like, this mint is really good, feels really good, just to ground yourself so that your mind doesn't go racing in different directions. Where we were wired that way, we were trained that way, we were brought up that way. In fact, as a girl, if you're not thinking about the next step, you're being told off that, why are you not thinking about what your plan is, right? So it's hard to retrain yourself, but that's a very simple tip you can use. That mindfulness where you just pay attention to the things around you so that you're just in that moment and you're more intentional when you're in that moment and you're also enjoying that moment. If you're at work, when you dress up, you walk into your workplace space, you sit down at work, you're like, I do actually have a job that I love. Well, I hope you do. I do have a job that I love. Oh, I like this paper that I use. I like this pen that I use. And that's why for me, I surround myself with pretty things so that when I'm doing the exercise, I have something to look at, not my pile of laundry or whatever. So yeah, so that would say, yeah, that's one, knowing why you're here, what you're passionate about, and also forcing yourself to be intentional by just being mindful. Yeah.
I love what you said about being attuned with your senses. Now that you're talking about it, I was like, hey, okay, are you attuned to your senses? And for me, I would say to be my senses of feeling.
Okay.
When I go into a room, I always sense the energy. No jokes. It has to be the energy.
Right.
And when I tell them in my house, my kids are, Mommy, you've started. I said, yes, someone here doesn't have the right energy, and I need to dispense that energy. And I would always deflate it. Even when I go for meetings, I search the energy. I sometimes I go for places and I want to go into the room first. I need to dispel or dispense the energy I want. I tell people I move around with a cloud of energy around me because I need that feelings, because I need to be in tune with that place. Otherwise, it's just difficult
There's
to
a
get it
disconnect.
done. It has to be, like you said, yours is that of sight. Thank you so much. I never really thought about it in that light, but you actually just threw lights for me. Thank you so much, because I'm having a lot of aha moments with you.
Thank you.
Just having this discussion. And I know that others who will listen to this would also find the aha moment. And what I like about what you're saying, the things are not high up there. There are relatable things we can actually even start doing right now.
Right.
Right now. And that is so amazing. Thank you so much for giving us that opportunity to know that we actually even have the power within us right now, right here, to effect the changes that we so desire. Now, can you speak to the importance of support systems? What role do support systems such as mentorship, community, the right people in your boat play in empowering women to achieve their goals? The importance of having the right support systems.
I mean, I am where I am because of my support system. That's just the truth. And yeah, mentors are great because, of course, we know that they've probably walk the path, and then that way you're learning from them. And most people, they get very discouraged when they're thinking about mentor, like, oh, I'm looking around me, I can't find anybody that can mentor me. My first mentor, I'm sure she probably doesn't even know me. It was just someone I listened to on TV, I connected with, and I just did a deep dive into everything she has to offer. Back then, even social media wasn't such a big deal, so you had to literally buy the books, and I read the books. Now you have social media, you can listen to the books, so you can find somebody around that can mentor you. That's one. When it comes to support system, even in terms of your life, I always say that the life of a woman is kind of divided into, I would say, 12, where you have your physical, your mental, your so many other areas. I don't want to mention all the 12. Anyway, for those areas, you should have somebody that supports you in that area. And this is not just friendships. I mean, it's good to have friends, but you should have somebody that supports you in that area. So for me, for example, let me use my top 5. If in my faith walk, I have someone that supports me in my faith walk, that literally I know they're looking out. And when I get on a call with the person, that's what we're going to be talking about. When it comes to family, I have someone that supports me in my family. That's why I'm able to do the things I'm able to do. Like I was out of town the whole weekend because I had a support system that would be able to take care of things for me if I needed help somehow. And then I have somebody in my fitness that will call me to order and be like, girl, we didn't see you in the gym. What's going on? You know? Yeah, so I have that for my fitness. And fitness is very key, not just physical fitness, even in my mental fitness. I have people that would call me randomly and be like, you've been on my mind. I'm like, oh, thank God you called me, because you know what? I am in this dark place and I'm trying to get out. And in that conversation, I'm able to come out from there. And I have someone that will support me too in friendship. I have a friend that calls me all day and tells me, Nika, you didn't return my call. I'm like, I gotta do better as a friend. And then I also have friends that will be like, oh, we're having this thing somewhere. Let's all go hang out and do this thing, which is amazing because we all need that break. So look at your areas of your life, especially when you have your non-negotiables, and look for someone that will support you in that area. And I always say, look, if you cannot find in your circle, then you know you have your work cut out for you. Go out there and find. Like literally, I drew like a circle for myself, and I was able to pen down friends and which part of my area of life they fall under. And then I was able to see where I was lacking. And I'm like, I need a friend in this area. Like right now, I am like I was out, I think beginning of this year, I feel like I need a support system when it comes to my finances. I want somebody that knows about investment and all of that. I want that person in my circle. And it just fell on my lap that way, because that's how the world works. When you set your intentions out in the world, God is going to bring that person to you. Now,
Yes.
it's not left for you to be nice to the person enough for them to be in your circle. That's your work cut out. So look at your all the areas of your life and find somebody that will support you in that area. Mentorship is important. And then lastly, learn to receive. Learn to receive, learn to share, learn to be vulnerable. As women, we all want to act all, we have it all together. So even when you're meeting all those women, you're not even sharing where you're struggling. Meanwhile, your answer is in the room. So learn to be vulnerable, learn to receive. When somebody is being kind to you or trying to be there for you, don't base it on your past experiences like, girl, am I not doing the same? It's okay. You make mistakes, you learn. You make the same mistake again, you learn. Yeah, whatever. Keep putting yourself out there. And then another thing too is you too, madam, be ready to be a mentor to somebody else.
Yeah.
Don't just want to receive, receive, receive. Put yourself out there to support somebody else. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much, Nikki. There's just so much you just said that he's just speaking to different aspects of my life currently. I'm like, okay, where is this woman being on my life? Where is she? Wow, thank you so much. Again, just be mindful of your time. I'll just ask 2 more questions and we'll be done with this section. Now, what is the mindset for success as we begin to bring this section to a close? Speaking to women and having their mindset for success, you touched about it a while when you talk about being able to retrain your thoughts. But I want you to talk about the mindset for success. How vital is mindset in achieving personal and professional success? And what strategies do you recommend for women to develop a positive and resilient mindset? But sometimes we have this this urge to start or the nudge to start something. But along the way, we just kind of, you know what, I can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
What mindset do we need and what is vital in achieving that personal and professional success?
Yeah, I mean, your question is very loaded because it's like in different aspects. So first, I will start with the mindset for success is just know that great things can happen to you. Because as women, we know great things can happen to women, but sometimes there's a disconnect between those people. You know, we have this, oh, they're those people. No, you are one of them. It can also happen to you and for you. So having that mindset. Now, it's easier to just say it, but you have to retrain yourself enough to believe it. And I would say find a word that works for you. When I was starting out in business, because I was living in a different country, then I was a new mom. Of course, I had a lot of limitations that were just popping up in my mind. And one of them would like being, oh, if I was in a very known environment, I would know what to do. I would know where to go to. You know, I had so many excuses. So one day I sat down, I was like, okay, make a list, write down, make a list of all your excuses. So I made a longer list. And then I asked myself, what is the reality? Like, what is the reality? Yes, fine. You're in an environment where you're new, you don't know a lot of people, you don't know who to call. I mean, if I was in my environment, I know who I'll call for anything. Yes. Okay. So what are you going to do about that? Oh, I can always find a way to, meet other people. So really, I made a long list of all the things that I feel were my limitations and were blocking me. And then I wrote the answers. Or in some cases, I actually wrote the reality. I'm like, some of them had just been lazy. It's just been lazy. Some of them have, you're just shy, and I put the reality on the side of it. And then when I was done with that, I was like, I need a quote for this thing that would remind me. And I realized that I found this quote and I was blown away. I love the quote so much. It's like, your only limit is you.
Wow.
And I used to put that quote on my website for the longest time. I think I pulled it down maybe a couple of years ago. I had it everywhere on my notebook. Your only limit is you. You, it is you. So I always tell myself, Nika, you just need to get yourself out of the way. Like you need to get out of your own way. It's not your environment, it's not the people around you, it's not all of that. So that's how I was retraining my mindset to let me know that my only limit is you. And people around me are always so shocked. They're like, oh, so you just thought about doing this thing, I just did it. Yes, because my only limit is me. And if I'm able to conquer me in my room early in the morning or at night or whatever time, I'm good. I'm going to go out there and do what I have to do. So that's how to retrain your mindset, is to make a list of all the things that you think are stopping you and your excuses, your valid excuses here. You write it all out and then really flip the script and answer them honestly and find a quote that speaks to that. That's why when I'm doing affirmations with clients, I just don't come up with a bunch of affirmations. You have to come up with an affirmation that's relevant to what you're going through, not just, oh, that sounds good. No, even as I'm telling you about my own quote that my only limit is you, you think it's amazing, but I know what that particular sentence is doing to me to retrain me. Now, that was that phase in my life. Then I moved on to a different phase where my only limit was not me now. I was still having a lot of things that were stopping me from stepping up. And I realized doing the same work that I was waiting for a savior. I was always waiting for a savior. And I tell my friends this a lot. I'm like, I don't like how my kids watch all these fairy tales movies. They're like, Nikki has come. I was like, this fairy tale movie is always giving me a savior mentality, like Cinderella is waiting for the prince, every single princess seems to be waiting for somebody to come save them. Why can't they go slay dragons? So I realized that okay, that's the thing. I'm always waiting for a savior. And I grew up in a culture where you have to have sort of a savior to get into a room. If you want to get into a room, you call around to find somebody that knows somebody to be able to get into the room. But now I'm in a different environment. That's not how it works. You just go into the room. So, and then I came up with another quote for myself. It sounds interesting. I'm like, nobody's coming to save you. And I put that quote there, like, nobody's coming to save you. I even went online. I found stickers. I have it in my office right now, like right opposite in front of me. I put stickers everywhere just to remind myself, you're the one saving yourself. So that's how to retrain your mindset. It is a continuous journey. You never get to your destination and be like, oh, I got this. No, there's always another level till the end of time. You keep working on yourself. So that's it. Like, figure out what you really think about yourself. find a way to answer those things that you think about yourself and create your quote from there and keep repeating that to yourself until that becomes you. Like you become that quote. Yeah. So
So amazing, Nike. And, as we actually close this section, I want to say a very big thank you to you for pulling out these nuggets. And the way you say it so calmly, but you are giving out like $1 million worth of nuggets to everyone who listens to it. We're talking about quotes. I know there was a quote I held on to with me for the past 2 years. And I just realized that in every phase of my life, I always had a quote. Now that you're actually bringing it home to me, and my quote was, if you're not better today than you were yesterday, what do you need tomorrow for? And it just stood in front of me every time and said, Erike, if you're not better today than yesterday, don't ask for tomorrow. Then you do not deserve the gifts of
wow.
tomorrow.
Wow.
And that always kept me on my toes. It kept me running. It keeps me awake at night because it was just a reminder in front of me. Erica, are you sure you need tomorrow? What did you do with today? And that led me to an exercise I do in my kids. It's a very simple exercise. At the end of the day, I asked them, did you do your very best today? And they said, once there's a bit of hesitation, and I tell yourself that, you know what? You've already lost today, but you have tomorrow. Make sure that as you go out tomorrow, do your absolute best. And they start with a simple thing, clean up your room. And they come back and say, I'm done. Have you cleaned your room this morning? We'll say yes. So, okay, if I go to your room, would I need to improve on anything? He said, okay, mommy, hold on. I'll be right back. And we do that over and over and over. Just simple exercise. And they come back and say, mommy, we can go and check. I am confident I have done my absolute best. Wow. And Nika, you just brought all those things to the fore again to me. And I just feel a rekindling in my heart to say, Rika, you know what? These are things that are relatable. These are nuggets that are doable. Yeah. These are nuggets you can use in your life to become your very best self. And with that, I want to say, Nika, thank you so much for giving us easy to follow things that we already know, but we need to become more aware of and put to our lives to see a better version of ourselves. And I would like to say this quote that you say every time. Where is it? Yes. Your time is a gift. Use it wisely to fulfill your purpose and create a life you love. And with that, I want to say, Nike, give us your last words as we bring this section to a final close.
Okay. I think my last words will be about personal development. We all, like I say, if you go to bed today, you wake up tomorrow, you will grow older, give it a couple of years in age. But when it comes to your growth, like your personal development, you can't just expect that it would grow like the way you would plant a seed. You have to be very intentional. You have to pay attention to how you're growing yourself. So if you know your top 3 or your top 5 or whatever they are, make sure that every day you're growing in any of the areas. You're just growing. And the tax is not a lot. I can't remember who exactly said just be 1% better. Just be 1%.
That is James Clear.
Thank you very much. I'm sure I heard this from one of the productivity
James
people.
Clear.
Just be 1% better. It's not that big of a deal to be 1%. It's so easy. You want to get better in your career, just find a training that would help you to be better and just do 1% of the training every day. Before you know it, you're done in 100 days, 100%. So really, that's it. Like personal development, don't give it a chance. Be more intentional.
Wow, thank you so much, Nike, and everyone who wants to reach out to Nike, I will send her link. She has an amazing program in May. She sent it to me yesterday, and I'm like, this woman is going places, and she has some in June. I think she has another one in June, and if she also has like an online, I'll also post those links just for you to follow her, Find her page. She has amazing posts. I read a post this morning. I'm like, okay, high up and here all at the same time. And that's so relatable and so amazing. And thank you once again, Nika, for being here. God bless
You.
you. We look forward to having you more so that we can spend time with someone who has so much knowledge
Oh,
and
thank
so
you.
much wisdom and excellence. Thank you so much and God
Oh,
bless
thank
you.
you. Okay. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you.